Welcome to Maths with Steve. I'm Steve, and today we're talking trigonometry. I'm trying to use trigonometry to find a missing side length. Now, with Pythagoras, you had two side lengths, and you were able to find the missing one. But on this one, you don't have that. Okay, so we have one side length that we're given, and we're asked to find another one, but we're also given an angle. Now, it's important to point out that this can only happen on right angled triangles. Okay, so we need to work out how to use trigonometry to be able to find out this missing side length. Now, it takes a bit of practice to do this, but it's really easy. Okay, the word trigonometry, again, like Pythagoras, it's a terrifying word if you don't know what you're doing. So, I understand if it's something that you get worried about, but honestly, once you get used to it, it's easy. So you just need practice, okay? Now, on your calculator, it should be, two up from the AC button. You should see three buttons in a row. One says sin, one says cos, and one says tan, okay? They're the three functions that we need to use to be able to find out what these side lengths are. Now, these are specific ratios of trigonometry, which, quite frankly, you do not need to know about at GCSE levels. All you need to know is that they're basically your helpers to get you sorted on what you need to do. Now, you might have heard of the acronym SOHCAHTOA. Now, SOHCAHTOA is a thing that we use to help us to find out whether we're going to use the sin, the cos, or the tan button, right? So, with that in mind, I'm going to use this one on the left here as an example of how to do it. Right, okay, so what we've got 3 at the bottom there, and we've got this 47 degrees. Now, what we can do is we can label the triangle to help us find out what we need to use. So this is how we do it. The hypotenuse is always the longest one. It's the one, just like we said in Pythagoras, it's the one that comes out from the right angle there. So the one that's opposite the right angle is always called the hypotenuse. Okay, that's good. Right, what's the other two called? Well, where the angle that you've been given, so in this case the 47 degrees, the one that's opposite that is called, you wouldn't believe it, opposite. Okay, so class that as op. And the one that's left is the A, the adjacent. Now, adjacent basically means the angle, the side that's adjacent to the angle, which is this one with the X on it. So I'm just going to label that, not addy, adj. Okay, adjacent. Great. Now we know what each side is, and we can work out what we need from there. Now then, the hypotenuse is not used. We've not been given a number, and we don't need to find a number for it. So I do not need that. I need the opposite and the adjacent, and this is where SOHCAHTOA comes in. You want either a SO, a CA, or a TOA. Let's break this up actually. So I have a SO, a CA, or a TOA, which is going to be able to have, basically not have a H in it. So in this case, the SO has a H in it, the CA has a H in it, and the TOA does not have a H in it. And as you can see, it has an O, which is opposite, and it has an A, which is adjacent. Great. So now we can use that. So we know that we're going to be using TOA for this one. Now, how on earth do we use this? If you see up here in the top right hand corner, I have put 3 different triangles. And these are formula triangles. I personally am not a big fan of formula triangles, but they are really helpful for lots of people, so I'm going to teach it this way. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got SOH, CAH, and TOA, and TOA spells TOA. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to bring it over here. Okay, so just quickly draw that out. TOA. Now, the way we use these formula triangles is that the O is always over the T or over the A. And if you need to find out what the O is, then you can times the T and the A. So I'm just going to take you through that. So I'm going to put a times sign here because it's always helpful to have it, in my opinion. Right, so what this means is that if I want to find the t, so if I wanted to find what tan was, for instance, I could put a line through that, and it would be the opposite over the adjacent, like a fraction. So opposite divided by the adjacent. Okay. If I wanted to find out what the a was, if I wanted to find out what the adjacent was, which I do in this case, I could cross out the a, and I know it's going to be the opposite over the tan, which is going to be helpful for us. I will come back to that, but if I wanted to find out what the o was, if I wanted to find out what the opposite was, I could cross that out, and it's going to be the tan times the adjacent. So that's how that works. So let's just use that now, okay. So in this one, the adjacent is my x. That's the unknown value. That's the thing that I need to find. So I can cross that out. So it's got to be o over t. Now the opposite is the o, which is 3. So I can say, I'm going to put a for adjacent, equals o, which is 3, over the t. Now what is the t? Now the t is the tan. So the tan function on our calculator, and if you just press that, if you just go onto your calculator and press the tan, you'll see it opens up a bracket. So I'll open up a bracket there, and it's going to be 47 degrees, because that's the degrees that we're given there. So we put 47 in there. Great. So if I want to find out what the adjacent is, which I do in this question, all I need to do is go into the calculator, press my fraction button, press 3, press down, and then press tan. It opens up the bracket, 47, close your bracket, press equals. Now you'll see it comes up with a massive number. I'm just going to go back to red for this. So the number that it comes out with is 2.7975, what is it? 452.58. There we go. Now, usually it will say round this to 1 or 2 decimal places. So in this case, I'm going to say round it to 2 decimal places. So if I'm rounding to 2 decimal places, I go, first decimal is a 7, second decimal is a 9, so I can put a line after that. And I can see that the 7 is 5 or over, so that's going to make that 9 go up, but that means it goes up to 10, which therefore means that the 7 is going to have to go up to an 8. So that's going to round up to 2.80 to 2 decimal places. And that's the answer to that question. Right, it is a lot to take on, so I'm going to do another one now. And just follow it along. I'm going to just go through it quite steadily now and just see how we get on with it. Right, okay, so I have another triangle here. The x is on the hypotenuse, so I'm labeling it straight away. Hypotenuse is here, and that's what I'm looking for. Opposite is here, but there's nothing there, so I'm not going to need that. So therefore, the adjacent is the other one that I'm going to need. Great. Okay, so straight away, what I can do is I can find, in the SOHCAHTOA, I can find the one without an O. Well, that has an O, so I don't need that. And that has an O, so I don't need that. So now I'm going to need to use the Ka triangle. Great, so I get a triangle, draw out my little triangle, C-A-H. Okay, cool. Right, so I need the hypotenuse. I can cross out that hypotenuse, so I need the A over the C. Okay, so the A is 6.5, and that is going to be over C, so on your calculator it's going to be cos. Open the brackets, and what's inside that angle there is 23. Cos 23. Excellent. Get your calculator. Fraction sign, 6.5. Press down, cos 23. Close your brackets. Press equals. I'm going to do it to 2 decimal places again. So I'm going to do the full one first. So it comes out 7.061342453. Big one. Okay, 2 decimal places. Well, first one is the 0, second one is the 6. Put a line after it. 1 is below 5, so it's going to be 7.06. Usually in centimeters, isn't it? I've not written them down here, but let's just say that it was in centimeters. Centimeters, and that's going to be to 2 decimal places. And that's it. That's literally all you need to do. Take your time on it though, because there's quite a lot to get through. Of getting used to it. I'm going to give you some questions now, but also, you can find them on the internet. If you like, Corbett maths is great. So if you was to you could put trigonometry, missing side lengths, Corbett maths into Google, and they have some really good worksheets that you can work through as well. So yeah, it's a practice one. It's one that people get scared of, and then they learn it, and then they forget it, and then they get scared of it again. They keep going around in cycles, and it's just not worth your time to do that. So just practice it loads at first until you're bored of it. That's the way you should do it, all GCSE maths. Do it until you're bored, and then hopefully that'll stick, and just revisit every now and again. Okay, maths gangsters, I've got 6 for you to go through. Give them a try. And then come back for the answer video. All right.